Tonight on Carolina News, a plane slams into a building packed with people, leaving 5 severely injured and 4 dead so far.
Plus, the winter homeless shelter will be opening its doors to the homeless as temperatures continue to drop.
And I've known actually a couple people that I've known and respect that died out here because of the cold.
And an exciting cooking challenge gives 5th graders the chance to show off their skills in the kitchen. All this and more now.
Live from the capital city.
We have breaking news coming from Wichita, Kansas airport this afternoon. An airplane plowed into a flight safety center with 100 people in the building at the Mid-Continent Wichita airport this morning. The engine lost power during takeoff and tried to return to the runway when it crashed into the flight tower. Officials say 4 people are dead, 5 are injured, and 4 are missing. The Wichita fire chief said the search for the missing people is halted because part of the building collapsed, making it too dangerous for crews to go inside.
The city of Columbia says it will be ready to open its winter homeless shelter next week. The shelter will be used to feed the homeless as well as provide a warm place to sleep during the cold months. Kelsey Childers has more on what the city is doing to prepare.
With the cold temperatures fastly approaching, city workers are putting the finishing touches on the winter shelter, which will open next Thursday.
The winter homeless shelter will stay open until the end of March. Our weather reporter Vince Dakis is outside the Horseshoe. Vince, it's been a beautiful week. Please tell me it's continuing.
Penny taxes have become a controversial topic in the Lexington County area. Some say they should have the tax and some say they shouldn't. David Dewberry went out to see what all the fuss is about.
Lexington has been a county divided in recent weeks.
If approved, the penny tax will run through April 2023.
It turns out Ebola may be easier to catch than we were told before. The CDC has said that Ebola does not spread at all by air. However, on Friday, a poster on their website says otherwise. The CDC quietly released this poster on its website saying the deadly virus can spread through droplets. The poster states droplet spread happens when germs traveling inside droplets that are coughed or sneezed from a sick person enter the eyes, nose, or mouth of another person. They admit that these particles or droplets may land on objects such as doorknobs and that Ebola can be spread that way.
There's been a lot of misunderstanding, misinformation of how infectious diseases are spread. Some are spread by droplet, which means that I have to come directly in contact with your body's secretions, be that urine or saliva or blood, and then it would have to enter my body either through broken skin or by touching my mucous membranes, my eyes or my mouth.
According to the New York Post, the CDC did not comment about the poster. Dr. Culley recommends for the public to continue to follow basic guidelines when sick, such as covering your mouth, nose, and washing your hands frequently, and most importantly, staying home if you're sick. The largest Ebola vaccine trial will occur in December in Switzerland. The vaccine arrived today and it will be tested on 120 people. Researchers are trying to determine if the vaccine is safe and what the correct dosage is. People will receive the vaccine, be monitored for 2 weeks, and then continue to be monitored in a hot zone.
Disturbing Halloween decorations have been removed from a house on Fort Campbell Army Post. This picture sent to ClarksvilleNow.com shows the display. You can see several black figures hanging from a tree, as well as a smaller body with a knife in the back. Fort Campbell's Public Affairs Office says they got a report about the decor, immediately investigated, and the resident removed the display. In a statement, officials say what was depicted was contrary to the installation and community standards. And speaking of Halloween, candy corn is a staple for the holiday. And Thursday, it's so popular it has its own day. Today is National Candy Corn Day. And get this, more than 35 million pounds of candy corn will be produced this year. The sweet kernel dates back to the 1880s. Coming up next after the break, South Carolina resident visit from the front lines of Ferguson.
In front of the police officer, I had to face the guns and taste the mace. I had to do that.
It has almost been 2 months since the shooting of Mike Brown by police officer Darren Wilson in Ferguson, Missouri. There have been many protests sparking national attention. Shayna Bethea has more on how people in South Carolina have been inspired to take action.
I met with South Carolina native Bryant White as he explained to me an upcoming documentary he's helping to shoot called Black Summer.
The grand jury has until January to decide whether or not to indict Darren Wilson for the death of Michael Brown. However, they are expected to make a decision any day now.
Apple CEO Tim Cook came out as a homosexual earlier this week, but not every corporate setting is hostile to homosexuals in the workplace. In 29 states, it is legal for private corporations to fire an employee simply because he or she is gay. A study conducted with NYU found that 83% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual employees hide some part of their sexual orientation at work. Founder of Out Leadership, Todd Sears, says that it takes more than just hanging up posters in the office.
I've actually had a number of senior straight managers say, oh, well, that's personal, you don't need to bring it to the office. And I challenge them and I say, take 24 hours and don't talk about your wife, your children, put all the photos away from your desk. See if you can do that.
Sears says 91% of Fortune 500 companies have anti-discrimination policies. Some Chipotle workers are suing the restaurant chain for making them work extra hours without pay. The suit says that Chipotle routinely requires their hourly employees to work off the clock in order to save money on payroll. One worker said that if they complain, the restaurant would terminate their employee or cut their hours. The lawsuits have been filed in Colorado and Minnesota.
The Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America reports that over 50% of Americans suffer from some type of allergy, but one Columbia woman is allergic to more things than most. Imani Crumblin tells us how she deals with this rare disease.
Meet Renee LeCoullier, a full-time nurse and owner of LeCoulier's Gourmet in Forest Acres.
LeCoullier Gourmets are at the Forest Drive Farmers Market every Thursday from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Obesity rates in the U.S. have soared among all ages for the past 4 decades. This increase is affecting our youth in a negative way. Childhood obesity has doubled in the past 30 years. Nearly 18% of children ages 6 to 11 are obese, and 21% of 12 to 19-year-olds are as well. Children who are obese are more likely to form bone and joint problems, sleep apnea, and diabetes. Local elementary schools are encouraging healthy eating habits to help with this problem. A culinary kickoff gave 5th graders a chance to show off their skills in the kitchen in a fun way. For the first time, the School District 5's Culinary Arts program let some students become chefs for the day, and Aisha Marshall shows us how one student took on the challenge.
Kale and other mystery ingredients were the only things Sophia Cayley's team had to start the cooking challenge.
The arts program hopes to use some of the team's dishes in their cafeteria someday.
Coming up in sports, Royal fans leave the stands bummed out by Bumgarner. Just break out the Olivia Pope jacket that I'm going to wear tomorrow for Halloween. Well, that's it for tonight. Tune in Friday at 4 p.m.
And thanks so much for being with us. Have a great weekend.
Several residents gathered in Copper Beach townhomes last night after news that 2 dead bodies had been discovered. Copper Beach is a housing community popular among USC students, and they were shocked to learn what had happened so close to home.
Very scared, honestly, just because, I mean, you never hear about someone dying and then it happens and it's just kind of, you know, it's very nerve-wracking is what it is.
Richland County Sheriff's Department were on the scene and described what they saw. Lieutenant Curtis Wilson says the bodies had been there for several days. Crime scene officials used the front door and downstairs window as entry into the apartment. Police say Green was a sophomore at USC and say Early shot Green, then shot himself. Friends of Green mourned at the scene once they learned what had happened. Robert Bell, a Copper Beach resident of 3 years, says he found out about the incident via social media, but would have preferred Copper Beach to tell him first.
I would rather them tell me now when it's happening than the next morning get a random newsletter that says, oh yeah, by the way, someone got shot.
And that's exactly what they did. Copper Beach placed this letter on residents' door, making them aware of the 2 bodies that had been found and that they are in full cooperation with the Richland County Sheriff's Department and saying safety is our top priority. Richland County continues to investigate a motive for why Early would have committed this crime as the people in Copper Beach come to grips with what happened. Nichelle Torres, Carolina News.